Hey guys, welcome back, and I'm going to be doing a movie review for you guys tonight, and it's going to be on one of my all-time favorite Christmas films, and that is Elf. And you can see I'm wearing an Elf shirt that says "Raised by Elves." I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's what it says, and it's a very nice shirt. My mom got this for me, so shout out to my mom for that. And this film, I mean, everybody at least has seen this film. If you haven't, you're crazy. But it's released. It was released in 2003, directed by Jon Favreau. Stars Will Ferrell, James Caan, Mary Steenburgen, Zoe Deschanel, Ed Asner, and Bob Newhart. And basically, what the movie's about is basically about this uh, orphan named Buddy who was raised by elves and is human. And many years later, he discovers that his real father is still alive and in New York City. And it's during the holidays, and he goes out to New York City to find him and to form a relationship with him. And that's basically the plot of the movie. And I've loved this movie since I was a little kid. Will Ferrell, I'm a big Will Ferrell fan. He's a very very funny guy, um, and this is like one of the movies that made me a Will Ferrell fan. That I am now, and you know this is a good edition of it. It's the Infinifilm edition. It's two disc. It's one disc is widescreen, the other's full screen. You got quite a lot of features on this, and I got this DVD thanks to my Aunt Sylvia, great Aunt Sylvia. Because she was getting rid of a bunch of her movies, and this was one of them. So thank you for that. And I did have this before years ago, but it was all scratched up. This the condition that it's in is pretty good. Like the widescreen edition, I mean, like the widescreen disc is pretty good, but the full screen is very messed up. So, uh, but I usually prefer widescreen anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. Um, but yeah, great acting. Rest in peace to Ed Asner, who plays Santa. Bob Newhart, who recently passed away as Papa Elf, the um, Buddy's. Uh, let's say, I guess you could say his the father that adopted him when he was at Santa's workshop. Uh, he died earlier this year, sadly. And rest in peace to James Caan as well, because he was a great actor. Zoe Deschanel, who plays the girl that Buddy has a crush on, is very cool. Her name is Jodie in the movie. She's very funny. Um, Mary Steenburgen is great, great actress, and after this, she did Step Brothers. This was in 2003, and that was in 2008. I think it was, yeah, around 2008. Yeah. Um, so yeah, it's nice to see them, in this movie, and they work together fairly well in this movie as they do in Step Brothers. And James Caan's great as his real father, who's a bit of a dick. You just watch this movie, and then like the way that he like treats Buddy and the way he treats his other family, it's just like wow, like what a dick. He gets annoyed easily with Buddy, and he thinks he's this maniac or something. And there's also like that it's just his personality just kind of puts you off. Like he cares more about his work than he does his family and everything, and you feel sorry for Buddy and his and the guy's wife and stuff like that. It's very shitty that some people are like that in real life. And uh this movie has so many like memorable scenes in there. Like there's like the scene where he does like the Jack in the Box, and like he's like winding it, and it comes up and scares him. That part's pretty funny. And also, some other people are in this movie. Faison Love, you might remember him. He played Big Worm in the original Friday movie. He also did Bebe's Kids and a whole bunch of other stuff. He's a pretty funny guy too. He's in there, in this movie as a department store manager for when it's Christmas time and everything. He's very very funny, and also Peter Billingsley, who played Ralphie in A Christmas Story and A Christmas Story Christmas, is actually an elf in this movie, and I thought that was pretty cool to see him in there. I didn't realize it until I was like much older that it was him, but I thought that's pretty cool to see because I love A Christmas Story. For those who don't know, that's my favorite Christmas movie of all time. This is definitely on my top 10 favorite Christmas films of all time. I'll show you guys the DVD packaging, and here's a back and quite a lot of features, so you can pause and read that if you wish. Um, Here's the widescreen disc, and here's the full screen disc. And I like the Infinifilm, DVDs. I think they're cool. Um, yeah, it's just so funny. Great family film to watch with the kids during Christmas time. There's also there's also like hilarious scenes like where he hears the girl that he has a crush on singing in the shower. Baby, it's cold outside in the girl's locker room, and he ends up singing with her and everything, and then she tells him to get out, don't look at me, and he covers his eyes and he runs away and he runs into the lockers. That's a very very memorable scene, and it's just so funny. And there's also like a scene where he's walking through the woods on his way to New York City, and he comes across a raccoon, and the raccoon gets pissed, and he's saying that how somebody needs a hug, and the raccoon attacks him and everything. I thought that's a pretty funny scene. And there's also very good, CG animation done. Like there's like other characters at outside of Santa's workshop that are his friends and everything. Those look pretty cool. And Jon Favreau is a very talented director, and he even has an appearance in this as a doctor in this movie, which is pretty funny. And there's a scene where where Buddy gets his finger pricked because the father wants to know if he's really his son, and he pricks his finger, and he yells in pain and everything, and he has like a cotton ball and he has it on his finger, and he's like, my finger has a heartbeat. And yeah, that whole situation was really funny. And there's a lot of funny scenes that make me laugh in this movie. I always have a blast watching it. It's one of those movies I like to watch every year. And there's also a lot of funny moments like where he chugs like the bottle of Coca-Cola, and he has that big burp later on, and he's all like, "Did you hear that?" And there's also the scene. It's also, I mean, it's funny, but it's also very gross when he puts syrup on his spaghetti, and he also has a whole bunch of junk for breakfast and everything, and he makes spaghetti, he makes the spaghetti and then he puts a whole bunch of stuff with it, like marshmallows and all kinds of sugar, stuff like that. It's really gross, but it's pretty funny to me though. And where he's trying to put up the Christmas tree, and that of course doesn't really end up working out so well, and him and his stepbrother, who's younger than him, they get jumped by a bunch of bratty kids that are throwing snowballs at them, and they throw snowballs back. That's a very fun part. And the movie has great music in it, great cinematography of New York City, and it's just a very well done made movie, and it looks great. I like the look of the film. Special effects are very good, and it still holds up for today's standards. It's 21 years old this year, so it's pretty crazy that how it's been this long since the movie's come out. And like I said, most people have probably seen this movie already, so I mean, I'm not gonna really go into much spoilers or anything. Not because like I care about it. It's because like most people already know about it. So I mean, there's no really a need to do like a spoiler filled review or anything like that. But um, yeah, I think that uh, there's just so many scenes that like you just can't forget. Like there's also like the scene where like the you go into the mall like and there's like the door that goes it spins around and around like he spins around with it and over and over again and that's a pretty funny scene and he gets sick and there's also a scene that's also pretty gross but like he eats like the chewed gum that's like on like the railings. He picks it off and eats it. Ugh. Yeah, that's it's pretty nasty, but it's funny though. And like that's what it's made for. It's for shits and giggles, but it's still pretty nasty because if it's in New York City, like you never know like who had it in their body and like stuff like that. So that's why you don't do that stuff. It's very gross. But also, I think the chemistry with James Caan and Mary Steenburgen is very well done too. I think they did a great job as being a married couple, and I like Mary Steenburgen's character. How she's open minded and she welcomes Buddy with open arms, even though her husband doesn't really want to. And she's like the same character in almost everything that she's in. Caring, open minded, and wants everybody to get along, and wants everything to come in place perfectly fine, and that's good because you know there's a lot of people in this world right now that definitely need to do more of that instead of being negative and mean all the time. And I like that about Mary Steenburgen. She's a great actress. And there's also like the scene where like he's at the mall and like he stretches his legs out on the escalator. Uh, that's a pretty funny part. And also, um, you know, uh, a lady has perfume and she sprays it, and he takes it and he sprays it in his mouth, and he like freaks out and he doesn't like it. Like that's a pretty funny scene too. And there's also like the scene where like he gets his dad a present and it's like a lingerie um sort of thing. It's just so funny. It's like one of those like situations where you're just like, what the hell is going on, And there's also Peter Dinklage is also in this movie as well. He's a short guy, and he's like this like children's book author that comes in to speak with his dad and everything, and it's like the infamous scene because like he keeps Buddy keeps calling him an elf and everything, and he gets pissed and he's like daring him to call him that one more time, and he's like he's an angry elf. Yeah, Peter Dinklage is a pretty funny guy. He does a great job in this movie. I mean, he's not in it very much, but he did a pretty good job for what he was given. And if you've seen Game of Thrones or um, the remake, the American remake of Death at a Funeral, you know who he is, and he's pretty funny. And he's pretty funny in those movies too. So, Death at a Funeral, and he's good in Game of Thrones. Which is a good show. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Um, and yeah, like I mean, there's not really much else to say, but it's a great, funny movie, well made, great Christmas movie to watch on Christmas. Let me know what you guys think of it. Is it in your top 10 favorite Christmas films of all time? It is mine. So let me know your opinions of it down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And stay tuned for more reviews coming up. And I'll see you guys next time.